Hey YouTube, so today we're going to try to work on, I guess I should move this over here so that you might be able to see what I'm doing. I'm going to attempt to get Karen's bike converted over to the new shifter, which I'm having a hard time finding right now. Just had it the other day. Okay, oh here it is, it's over here. It is a Shimano shifter, and it requires a few modifications to the bike. I'm going to try to take this off without having to use any air. It seems to move okay, but I may end up having to get a screwdriver out and some so I don't have much of my tools out here, but it is what it is. Take the screwdriver, and we really want to try to be careful when we do this because I just don't really want to screw it up. We're using a Phillips. We're spraying some stuff in there, and this will help loosen it up. And since it's windshield washer, it's not gonna, window washer, it's not gonna really stick it up too bad. And we want to leave this out in the sun. And I gotta check every once in a while and make sure you guys are still seeing everything. Now we're gonna need an Allen wrench. Of course, I will walk around with it, set it down somewhere. So you need an Allen wrench to remove most of this stuff. So let me come around to this side. First thing we're going to have to loosen up is the brakes, and you'll see why here in a minute, because I need to be able to move them around, and I'm going to have to loosen up the shifter too, which, oh, those things weren't on there very well. Guess I didn't check that. Well, they hadn't moved around, so now I need some different tools. It's hard to know what order you're going to have to take this off because it's kind of different for every bike. This, let's see what size this is. Not that size, and not that size. Well, it looks like we have to use a Phillips screwdriver. We need to loosen this up so we will be taking this off, but we need to be able to move it around. I don't think this is the right size Phillips. It's hot out here. I was gonna wear my regular glasses, but which I probably will have to take off and on. So we need to move this out of the way so we can get to the Allen set screw, which I'm not sure. I've done this, removed this before, but not sure what size they're. It's a metric set screw, but I don't even know either. Well, it's pretty small, or it's pretty big, and yeah. So I do not have, I'm not using the right one yet. There we go. So we are going to have to unwrap this. Try to use this stuff to make it look neat, but in all actuality, I don't think it makes it look all that neat. And they left a big loop up here on the, we'll probably just unplug whatever we can to, so that we don't have to stretch the cable, but for the first one we want is this top. Let me make sure I'm showing you guys this. First one we're going to want is this top one. So we're taking this off, and as you can see, there's an Allen screw there. The brakes and the shifter next. So now that we have that off, so now we got to come back to this back derailleur and take the cable loose back here. Most of this work's going to be up front, but we're using a 10 millimeter, and loosen that up. It's off. You have to either pull this cap off or cut it off, and we'll cut it off, leaving it as long as possible in case we have to use this cable. You just never know. So now I have to move the camera again back up to here. And let me zoom you out. So now all we have to do is pull. Wow, there's a lot of resistance on that. Pull this cable out. Grab the new one. Make sure you don't have any loops in it. And this cable's already lubricated with some kind of gold colored crap. Oh, that wasn't good. Okay. We've hit our first obstacle, which is going to be down here on the there's not really any way to show you this without is going to be down here, and on this okay, what happened to it? Oh, there it is. So we need to shove that through. This goes through here. And it's being a little stubborn. Oh, I need my chair. I ain't gonna sit bent over and do this. That's what happens when you get old, is you don't want to bend over and do stuff anymore. Now this cable is welded on the bottom, so it's not the cable that's causing it to move through there reluctantly. It is. So we're gonna put that back there, and then we're gonna run it into the other side of the cable housing. And we have to do it from this side. I know you probably can't see, but basically we're running this through here, and this needs to end up without a loop in it, but and we need to get this thing put back in. You'd think they'd come up with a better system for this, but we need this here. So we're going to go ahead and pull this up here tight, and then feed it from right here. So that's back in place. Now, if you're wondering what cable I bought with this, it was a, well, that's not how that goes. Oh yeah, it is. It's brake, shifter, brake. I'll put you back up here. This tripod is all this high-speed camera equipment I have, and I'm using a tripod. If I could get Karen to help me, I probably could do much better videos, but she doesn't want to be out here. And the last thing to go back on is this, and here's where the issue is going to come. So we're going, our shifter needs to come down like this, and it can't be in between. So that means I have to move this up here. So this is going to go plug back in, and this is going to be, the routing on the cable's going to change. It's a half twist shifter, so it's not a real issue as far as where you're going to have to twist it, because you're going to grab it in the same spot. So this goes up here like this, and this has to be visible, and you can barely reach it, but it's still reachable. So where's our grip over there is drying, so we're gonna let me come back around here. The derailleur will hook up last, and then we'll have to do some adjusting, and unfortunately you won't get to see that, because as heavy as this bike is, I cannot hang it on my bike stand and do it. It is way heavy. So it goes like that. Scratched that to display up a little bit, but when I dropped it, and we need this all the way in there. So, and now we can start tightening things up. So you're going to want to make sure your brake levers are pretty much put back where they were. So you have to eyeball this. And Karen will let me know if she thinks there's wrong anyway, so. And then the shifter needs to go as close as you can possibly get it. Otherwise, you'll have problems hitting the trigger, and it's good like that. So make sure this doesn't interrupt with the brake before you set it in place. Good. And not over tighten anything. So we've got this cable that wants to keep coming out of there, but there we go. Now, let me come around here. Got the cable set now. It's all the way seated in there. This is, you have to look for arrows on here, and the arrows have to be aligned. There's 2 arrows. So then you were set to wrap this up again. Wish I could do something different. I could unwrap this all, but still I would end up with, where do I put this the extra cable. It's just too much cable. Could cut it off, but this not do that. So we have everything plugged back in, and before I go hog wild, we'll make sure that everything's working. Karen rode her bike yesterday, so, and I've been putting this off. We've had the stuff to finish it up for a long time. Now the advantage to changing this is that you now have an adjuster that's on the up here by the handlebars, and you don't have to get your bike off your bike to adjust it. Oh, turn it on. So you want to make sure before you do any adjustments the bike's all the way in the lowest gear. We checked and make sure our cables are set it in this all the way in this deal. Now they make something they call a cable third hand to pull this cable tight and get all those seated, but we're going to use just a pair of pliers. I'm going to have to set up the camera again in a different spot. Okay, let's check and see. Yep, looks good. We'll move the bike over and reset the camera so you can see what I'm doing back here. And make sure you turn the bike back off. You don't want to cause anything to cause problems. So let's set the camera up over here. You can drop it down. We don't need it as high. See what we can see. Okay, I know it's shadowed some, but there ain't much I can do about that. So we make sure that we have adjustment on the sets, the barrel adjuster both directions. And we pulled that pretty tight, but we're going to check everything to make sure it's still in the proper positions. Yep. So our cable needs to go in its proper location. There's a little notch, and this is a 10 millimeter that it goes in. Now, oh, you guys might be able to see me adjust it. We'll tighten it up some more here in a minute. And I gotta zoom out because there's no point in me trying to do this with you zoomed in. Let's see. There we go. No. Okay. First step is we're going to shift it to the first, turn the bike back on, start EAS1, and it did not shift, but it's trying to. So, since it's trying to, we'll tighten up our adjuster up here a little bit. It's a pain to do anything up here, but because the bar dips down. So we'll do it again. So it shifted. So we'll we'll keep the bike going and shift up. We shifted twice. It says we're in 4th gear. We're in 1, 2, 3, and 4th gear. So since I got it good and tight, it seems to be in the right position for the shifter. Now this is going to stretch. There is no way to keep it from happening because this is a good quality stainless steel. That's tightened up. Now it takes a pair of, there's 2 ways to cut this cable. If you don't want to use a pair of cable cutters, you could solder it and do that, but it's I have cable cutters, so here's what they look like. I'm just going to cut the cable off long enough so I can grab it if I need to, and then I have a new Ferro rule or whatever cable end cap. I'm sure that I'm going to go out and ride this and have to adjust it again, but so there's a barrel adjuster like that on the front, and that's what I was using. So when you put this over, you need to really twist it, otherwise the direction of the cable, and then it's best to use side cutters for this, but I ain't going and finding them right now, so we'll just use these pliers to crimp it. And that's it. It is done. You're going to want to get a really long cable if you do this. The one that comes with the shifter isn't going to be long enough. You need a tandem cable, shifter cable. The only difficulty I seen was making sure you're getting it through the oh, let's put me up here. See my dirty garage. So the only difficult is going to be making sure you get everything back through that shift torque. It tells when the bike is shifting. So Karen had problems yesterday, so I have to go through the bike, but I'm not going to include that in this video. She said that it was making all kinds of noise. The kickstand come loose, but I'm going to get me some M5 nuts and put on the back side and Loctite them on top, because they use really long bolts, so I can get a nut on the back side of those and Loctite them and not have to worry about this again. Hope you get out there and ride your bike. Have a great day. It is really just that simple. If you get the cable good and tight when you're doing this, the shifting should be pretty close, and I just used a regular pair of pliers. So you need a 10, some Allen wrenches, probably a 2.5, a 3, and a 4, and a 5 for the shifter, and that's about it, and some whatever you want to use to get the grip off. So that's the end of the video. Hopefully it's not too long. Have a great day.